Okay. This is the regular meeting of the New Canaan Police Commission. 6 o'clock, so we'll begin. Today is July 19th, 2023. First on our agenda is approval of the minutes from our prior meeting on June 21st. I had one little correction on page 2, Jennifer, at the very bottom, just 3 lines up from the bottom, it says Police Commission prompted. It should be promoted. That's all I had. Any other corrections or changes?
No.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes.
Fine.
With your good arm, you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Second.
would say.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Minutes are approved. Next order of business is the Silver Mine road traffic calming matter that came up. Did I miss something?
Yeah. my favorite part.
Huh.
Chief of the-
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The monthly reports.
I'll be quick. First up, the year-to-date budget, close out the year. Says 103.9, but we also haven't had the money that was earmarked for the security that hasn't been applied to our overtime accounts yet. So that should balance things out a little bit closer to where we wanted to see them. But you know, we did get hit pretty hard with overtime last year. So we'll look closely at that next budget cycle. With that, the animal control is right on target, and the dog fund is also good. Monthly statistics, nothing really out of the ordinary to discuss. Everything seems to be tracking normal. Our more vehicle doctor are up from previous years. School checks are obviously up significantly. That's the placing of Shane Gibson in that school security role. You'll probably see location checks was a significant decline, but the school checks was an increase. And I think those just kind of swapped out for each other for the same areas. And those look pretty good. Staffing reports, we're at 65% working at minimum shift. As you can see, we have a significant amount of officers on special assignments, 2 SROs, 2 officers are field training, one's in the or 2 officers are in the academy, 1 officer is up in investigations, 1 officer is school security, and then the CIO. And we also had 2 officers that were out on injury leave as well. So we are taking a hit on staffing, but we're managing. Extra duty fund, that's looking okay. There's nothing too considerable over 90 days, a couple of one-offs here and there, but our major contributors, Burns Construction, Eversource, Penna, and those companies are most significant contributors to extra duty, and they seem to pay their bills within 60 days. So nothing too earth-shattering to report on there.
Okay, thank you, Chief. So now we have the topics for discussion. First being the road closure request for a block party. Someone here for speak to that? Okay.
I'm Siobhan Stack. This is the 3rd year in a row we're doing it. In years past, it was very sporadic, but especially with all the new people that have come in, there's revived interest in doing it annually. The attendance has been terrific. There's about 52 occupied properties in our whole neighborhood. There's 54 properties, but one's the land trust and the Granitos own 2 houses, so that's one. But there's 52 households, and we easily get over 100 people, and it breaks out. Adults like 55 adults, and then the rest split between tweens, older kids and little kids. And just in the past couple of months, we've had three houses turn over, all with little kids coming. So it's been, I mean, it's always been popular. I mean, the Horners started it way back when. And, you know, so it's just a great thing. And we get all Old Faithful, fire truck comes and, we typically, I sent Jennifer a picture, one picture from, you know, last year, but, you know, we always use a picture from last year and we do a flyer. And then, we follow up with an email to the neighborhood because one of the people actually has this, list and it's strictly, neighborhood business. So power outages, things of concern, lost pets. So everybody has signed up for that. So it's a nice little alert system within. So we use that for things like the block party
Great.
too. But believe it or not, the flyer gets immediate response. So, and we get a food truck. And this year it's September 23rd, which is the first day of autumn. And September 23rd from 4 to 7. And we have never had the need yet to have a rain date.
Huh.
But if we did this year, the 24th, I think, starts Yom Kippur, I think. No, yeah. So you wouldn't have it Sunday, but the following week would be the 30th. And we found that if we do something in September, it's actually as early as we can get in September is better, which is kind of counterintuitive because you think, oh God, school's starting, they're going to be praised. But actually it's the reverse. It's a little bit of a lull. If we wait later, then, you know, there's sports and tryouts and all this, you know, all this stuff. So that's kind of how we pick the date. Plus we
Great.
looked at the Farmer's Almanac and September is supposed to be a little cooler and drier than normal. So fingers crossed on the rain thing.
Okay,
So that's our request to you once again is to make.
okay.
see this.
Deputy Chief Walsh, what do we need to do in terms of any traffic situation?
Not much there.
Because it is at the end of the right at the cul-de-sac.
It's a
Yeah.
cul-de-sac, yeah. So what did you just put up some horses and
Yeah,
block
we
it
can
off?
put some barricades, just take it off.
Just in
Yeah.
case somebody comes
Yeah.
driving through.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
not in the party.
You don't want them to get hurt.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve. We just, it says 4:30 to 7:30. You said 4 to 7,
Oh.
but we'll do it whatever you want. What do you,
4 to 7, I guess. Yeah,
Okay.
4 to 7.
okay, we can make it 4 to 7 on September 23rd with a rain date of September 30th. Yes, we'll do that all at once. And that would be on the Stone Hedge Drive cul-de-sac at the
Yes.
bottom of it.
You got a second?
Second,
All in favor?
you got it.
Approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have fun.
Bill, great
Red
meeting.
heart, red heart.
Hello?
No,
No,
there's a-
it
is it
wasn't on
inadvertent?
mute and I think
Oh.
it was double.
Okay. Next order of business, the Silver Mine Road traffic calming that was discussed at our last meeting. Is there any update on that?
Yeah, I think we, based on our conversation, what we would recommend from the police department side is the white striping on Silver Mine Road from the intersection with Valley Road to the intersection with Comstock Hill Road. And we also recommend a crosswalk at the intersection with Mill Road, as it's a well-known traveled area for pedestrians that are doing the loop from Norwalk, that area, coming up into McCain and then coming over, they go to the preserve, and they also then can walk back down towards the Silver Mine Tavern. So it's definitely highly traversed as a pedestrian area, so we think it would be safe to have that. And from our side, we wouldn't need to vote on, but we're going to be placing a solar speed sign on Silver Mine in an appropriate area that has, adequate sunlight, so make sure it has good power. So probably, we're going to try and get it between Lane Ridge and Heather Drive. But if it doesn't work, then that general area. That's
Okay.
what you need to vote on, but just as information.
Okay,
And which way would the crosswalk go? Would it
Come
be on Middle Road? Because you got
Across
Silver,
Silvermine.
but across Silvermine
Yeah.
at Mill.
Yes,
Okay.
Is it gonna have the
Crossing
lights?
too.
there's the preserves that you could, you walk
There
up
is?
to over
Okay.
there, and also people just, they go up Silvermine and then loop over to Mill Road, or the opposite, come up Mill Road,
Okay.
loop back down
Yeah, yeah.
to Silvermine.
And they watch the traffic. going.
Yes.
That's traffic. Okay.
Will it have the button with the lights for people to cross?
Right now, probably not. I think I'll just do a stanchion. We won't do a flashing beacon there yet. In the, in the future, if we determine it's needed, we would, but it's pretty shaded there, so I don't know if the solar one will be very effective there, but for now, we'll just do the standard white hashtags and then the crosswalk stanchion.
Okay. Tiger, do you have any input on this?
We agree with the chief and the deputy chief. I got a quote. The quote was around $6,800 for the striping and for one of the crosswalks at Mill. And it is highly traversed as far as that area goes. We would not recommend one at Heather. And then we do have ones down further at the Silvermine Tavern, so they're taken care of. And then we can put up the normal pedestrian crossing sign and the stanchion as the chief mentioned, along with it. So if you say yes, I've already had the first selectman sign the quote in anticipation of of you guys making the approvals, so we can release safety markings and have them come out and do the work.
Is there one at the Silvermine Market?
We have 2 crosswalks there.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
But
Yeah,
Arts.
but
do those have to be redone or should they be redone?
we'll take a look, but I thought that they were pretty good. We normally restripe everything every 5 years, and the epoxy paint that we use lasts between 3 and 5 years. So I think we might be in good shape, but we'll take a look at that. It's a good question.
Okay,
I
any
think
further?
That'll help.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It just kind of pulls the traffic in a little.
Yeah.
bit.
I don't know, somebody is here. I don't know if that person from the public is here for Silver.
You know?
Hi, yes. Did you have a question?
I think Chanel's from Conrad.
Yes, Conrad, Gertie's South Avenue area.
Okay,
Okay. All right, so if there's no further discussion, why don't we have a motion to approve the traffic calming measures that Deputy Chief Walsh just outlined for us for the Silvermine Road area.
Right, I'll make that motion.
Okay. Second.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy Chief, do you want to bring up Talmadge Hill since they're on that type of topic? Or no?
We talked about it, sure. So Talmadge Hill, we've had some speed issues. There's a lot of volume over there as well. Obviously, it's a cut through from the South Ave to Old Stanford area. Not so much the train station anymore, obviously, but from people cutting exit to exit, using Waze apps and just getting around town. So it's a big cut through. There's a lot of volume. I don't have the data in front of me for that one. It's not on the agenda, but there was a lot of volume and a lot of high speeds. And there's some very concerned citizens on the stretch of road between Lapham and Old Stanford. There's just a few residents there, but they do have valid concerns. So again, similar to Silvermine, we're going to put out a solar beacon on our own accord and get it set up for some, valid speed slowdowns and awareness and the data we can get from it. But we do recommend white striping on that area as well, to go down from the Lapham area to Old Stanford. We can't really touch the dairy inside, so we just recommend that section here.
Okay.
So what part is in Darien? Is it a lot of it or a part of it?
The section in
Like top of the
Darien
hill?
is from Lapham up to South Ave
Oh, yeah, right,
on on the south side.
got it. That's- Yeah,
Yeah.
and people are cutting through there because you get around
Sure.
the other, right?
So
Okay.
one side of the road is New Canaan, the other side is Darien?
Like from the church down.
Side of the road, yeah. We own the road, but the residents are not
They're Darien residents. Yeah.
not the Canaanites.
I'm not even sure, do we have the authority to do that, Tiger? If we,
We could, yeah, we own the road, so we could stripe it if you wanted to, but I agreed with your analysis on the lower end right now. And then we could.
Really, on
look
the
to
hill.
different-
Yeah.
Yes, on the hill.
Transit sort of thing, so it's start small and then. if we
Yeah,
need to
sure,
do the other side,
absolutely.
we can Come back and circle back.
Okay. You need a motion on that?
I guess we.
Move forward? I mean, why not? If it
It would be helpful.
makes it a
Yeah.
little, yeah, if it makes it a little tighter and that people, you know, because if anybody's walking there, there's nothing.
Right.
With the curves and everything. So. And people come off the Merritt, if you're going northbound, and you go up that hill around because that light is so long.
Right.
At the bottom of 36 and the
36,
Old Stamford Road. So that, yeah. Okay. I'll make that motion.
Okay,
Prove that. Striping on Talmadge Hill.
Second.
okay, all in favor? Approved.
Approved.
I mentioned one traffic matter that citizen brought up to me the other day. They've been sitting with a group of folks in the evening along South Avenue at the new Dunkin' Donuts, so right at the intersection there. And they said they noticed 2 or 3 vehicles come up South Avenue toward Elm and make a right turn.
Oh, yeah.
So into oncoming traffic. I don't know if that's really a recurring problem or not. We do have 2. I looked at it. There were 2 one-way signs, one on each corner there, you know, large signs pointing to the left. So,
Put about as many signs as we can put up there.
yeah, I suppose you could put one directly ahead. I don't think there's anything directly ahead. There's that.
We did, yeah, we did at one point, and then it was out in the middle of the sidewalk when we extended on the bump out. And
Yeah,
then the storefront owners didn't want us to put it out too far, and they definitely didn't want it back by the building, so we did remove that one. But to your credit, to your right, we have the 2 on either side. I think we have an arrow painted in the pavement telling them to take a left, and then if you take the right, the stanchion in the middle says do not enter. So there's
Yeah.
like 4
Yeah.
ways to say that they go the wrong way. We do get reports on that occasionally. I have a resident who has a business up above on the buildings above, across the street, and he emails me about once a month saying that, you know, a resident will come by or a motorist will come through. And at one point we had a tractor trailer go the wrong way, which was even more interesting. I don't know how nobody noticed, but you know,
Yeah.
he made it through. So it does happen, but it's not I wouldn't say it's a lot, but we can look to do something else. You know,
Well,
it gets a little bit difficult.
Bump outs there that should help channel
Yeah.
traffic. To the
Yeah.
right. Make
That
it-
you're right, John. That should help.
Yeah.
That'll
Sure.
kind of give them the thought that they need to go to the left and not to the right at that
Yeah,
point.
all right.
That's a good
so
point.
why don't we just wait and see how that affects things then?
Yeah.
And all the cars are pointing that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You really have to be
Well,
asleep at the
I
wheel.
personally saw it.
You saw it happen?
Yeah, it's a group of kids in a white sedan and they just made it right.
Oops.
And I was flagging them down and they're looking at me like, what is this crazy lady yelling at me?
Ah,
And I went out to the street. I'm like, you're going the wrong way. And then they made a U-turn right in the middle of the road.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think a member of the public is here, assuming for a traffic concern.
It's like-
There you
Hello?
go.
Hi, yes.
Would you like to address the commission?
Janelle,
If I can, I think Tiger and Andrew have been hearing a lot from me and my neighbors recently. We're over on Conrad and we've been counting in the morning, like 400 cars coming through. Speeds going way fast. They've done at least 2 speed surveys with sentries in the last 8 months. Talking to other neighbors, they've done more speed surveys in the last 5 years. We're probably up to at least 5, maybe 6. So I just told some neighbors I would sit in. I'm new to town. I've only been here 18 months, so I really don't know the history or what protocol there is.
that road was never on Waze, and now it is on Waze, because I've been in Norwalk and I have a Tesla and I hit home just to see where traffic is. And it will put me right on your street. It runs me right on Conrad and, around, on Gertie's and then on Conrad and then out to South Avenue. It does.
But people, most of the people doing that in the morning though are coming down Gertie's, turning onto Conrad, getting onto South Avenue, and then getting onto the Merritt going south. So at the traffic light at the corner of South and Gertie's, I've come down in the morning and I've counted more than 70 cars lined up
Yep.
way past Conrad. So people come up, they see the Gertie's light back all the way up past Conrad, and they basically race down Conrad.
Yep.
I've come down South Avenue and I've timed it. Andrew and Tiger know I do laps. And you can come down South Avenue and there could be 3 cars waiting out South Avenue. You can watch 14 cars get through the light going onto the Merritt in 44 seconds, turn down Gertie's and still count more than 50 cars waiting on Gertie's to get to the light. You then get onto Conrad and in 5 minutes you can count cars going down Gertie's and another 45 going down Conrad to race to do the cut through to get on the Merritt going south. And I know Tiger and Andrew have seen it. I've been sending them numbers and I know they've done 2 weeks of testing in April and they did 2 weeks of testing in November.
This is sort of that nursery road.
The volume of.
It's a volume. I mean, they start, God, it starts in Norwalk on, is that 123 in Nursery?
Yeah,
And then they come up and then they take the left on Nursery that they're not supposed to take.
Mhm.
And they just keep going and then they wander around and go up Gertie's and then, yeah, I know, yeah. And we saw this.
I think adjusting the light on Gertie's would help. If, you know, the only 14 cars make it through and there's only 2 cars on South Avenue. I mean, clear, and then there's another 50 waiting on Gertie's. I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious that the light could be adjusted, that nobody's moving on South, but there's tons of cars waiting on Gertie's.
and the
The,
light to Tiger in a manner that, you know, during rush hour in the morning, it gives more time coming off Gertie's, but you know, when that traffic dissipates after rush hour, it goes back to a more standard time than it has now. Can you
I
do
don't,
that?
I think that it can, yeah, you can create, you know, you can create areas inside it that would have, you know, that would change according to what the traffic would be. It's a state light, right? So we'd have to petition the state to take a look at it. Their primary concern all the time is traffic on their road, so 124. So that's what so that's why it gets the biggest amount of time, regardless. So, but we can certainly ask them to take a look. We have asked Hardesty and Hanover to take a look. That was Michael Galante, used to be in, to take a look at the intersection and Conrad itself, and they're preparing a proposal for us to do some traffic calming measures on Conrad that should help. I know we put in some temporary stop signs on there. They're not necessarily a traffic calming measure, but they have been helping, you know, slow speeds somewhat in the area. But once we get back, we had Hardesty and Hanover do a preliminary study. It came back with a couple of ideas. We were going to have them chase down one of the ideas to see if it would be what it would look like and how it would be enacted, and then we bring it back to the commission at that point in time for approval, for review and approval. But we are looking at it. Janelle's right. She's been emailing us pretty much every day, very diligent about what's going on there. And it is similar to the Nursery Road issue that we had prior, right? Which is only Nursery seemed to be backed up the whole way without speeds. Conrad seems to be speeds and backing up. It's a little bit different. You know, Nursery was just volume. Conrad's more of a volume and speed issue. But we are looking at it at present, and you know, hopefully we can come up with an idea. And I'll reach out to the state. We reached out to the state today about one other traffic light and its timing at 123 in Carter. And this is the second time we've reached out to them on that. Still haven't gotten an answer back on the first request, let alone the second request. but I'll reach out to them on this one as well, see what might happen, what might be the art of the possible there.
Can we make it just a no through traffic on Conrad?
We
I
can't,
mean, we would love it. I mean, there is a lot of speed, and I did want to mention one thing about the speed. I think what happens, people are getting off the Merritt, maybe at exit 38 because of the traffic. I think they come to Conrad and they see an open road, which is flat and very visible, and they just look at it as a racetrack to get to the other end.
Right. With the no through street designation, we'd have to go back to State Traffic Authority, OSTA, for that, to make that determination. And they might allow it only because the alternate route is Gertie's. It's just, it would be very difficult to
Okay,
enforce. You know, I think that would be for their police department. It's-
Move the problem.
Right, but you would just be shifting it back to Gertie's one way or another, right? It's about, so Austin might not have a problem with it because it'd be intra-town, not inter-town, you know, so they might not have an issue with it, but might be a problem with enforcement. You know, you have to kind of make sure that car's not stopping. He's not, you know, it would get kind of, it's similar to the Nursery Road issue. It's a little difficult to enforce. But I'd like to see what Hardesty and Hanover comes back with, and then we come back to the commission and say, this is what we think might work. And as a speed, might not be able to take care of the volume, but it can definitely take care of the speed.
I did want to add one other thing about also the afternoon and throughout the day. We do continue to get significant traffic all afternoon as people are coming off South Avenue to go do their shopping in Norwalk and beyond. And again, that light at South and Gertie's, the timing, it just isn't great all day. And it appears as though everybody's trying to avoid that traffic light and just use Conrad as a cut through. When you're coming off South Avenue, I feel the speed is even worse just because Conrad is such a hill that the cars just naturally pick up speed as they're going down the hill.
well. I know Waze puts me on it.
Hmm.
Can we go to Waze and Google? I mean, we tried, I know, we've tried and they don't.
call Google, tell them. to
Yeah,
change it.
yeah, if you have a number of Google, we could call, yeah. But they do, that's where they put traffic down. I mean, they did it in my car the other day. And that was just, you know, Home Depot back to here, you know, they put me through there.
Well, all right, let me light a fire underneath Hardesty and Hanover about this proposal that we had and see if we can't bring that forward a little bit faster and try to help some, you know, a little bit and see how that rolls.
That's a shame, yeah.
Continue to look at it. We can continue to look at other ways, but yeah, it's a combination of issues, I would say.
I think most importantly is it's dangerous. There's a lot of families and kids walking up the street to and from the school. So it's, you know, it's a safety issue, let alone the volume and the speed.
Yeah, it's one of the only roads behind the Y that doesn't have a sidewalk. Everybody else has a sidewalk. You're the only one that pretty much doesn't. So you're correct. And it's one of the areas that we're looking at to extend the sidewalks to and through. But we're not there yet.
Okay. Anything else? All right, so Tiger, I guess we'll hear from you at our next meeting.
Yeah, we'll give you an update at that point in time, certainly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I guess now building renovation and training facility update.
Okay, want me to?
Sure.
Sure, a number of the larger items are out to bid, like air handling, generators, things like that, the long lead time, larger piece of equipment are out to bid. Turner's on it. And we're waiting to hear back. And I don't even know what prices are really doing yet. We don't have a good feel yet. And then other things will be out in the next couple of weeks for bid. So it's moving along.
Good.
You want to talk about the other?
And next week, the bidders are doing walkthroughs.
Yep.
I think that's next Tuesday. We're gonna do the walkthrough and submit their bids after that.
There's a couple moving parts in that. The move out of here going to Locust, but the Board of Ed has to get out of there and go to Elm, and that's almost done. You know, it'll be done by the end of August.
Yeah.
And then we should be able to leave out of here by Thanksgiving, November, because now we've got to get people in there. Turner's going to actually do a little bit of renovation on Locust, just to make sure.
Yeah, that's going to the Board of Selectmen Tuesday. It's about $300,000 worth of work that's, the selectmen will approve for the 39 Locust fit out for the PD to go in. That'll start right when we get the BOE out, which is around the middle of August to the end of August, to Paul's point.
Yep.
There's a couple of points and they're moving around, but everything's, most of the pieces are falling into place quite in a pretty good timely manner. So I think we're doing well.
Yep. The other thing, we got thrown a little bit of a curveball, that the state is now requiring different regulations for if you have 5 cells or more.
They changed the code. If
They
you're-
changed the
if you're
building
above
code.
3 cells, it changes the classification of building to industrial, so that requires a whole plethora of fire retardation and all sorts of things to.
How many cells we going to have?
That would be anything over 3 cells, I think, 3 detention cells. Currently, we're designed for 5.
5.
Because the old code was anything 6 or more. So that's why everybody had 5. So I'm working with Brian Humes, the architect, and I think what we'll most likely be doing is doing 3 detention cells and then converting the other 2 into just temporary holding cells. No bed platform and things like that, no toilets and urinals and sinks or anything like that. So it'll be a situation where you wouldn't hold anybody for any longer than a few hours. It wouldn't be an overnight situation, so that should get us in compliance and not trigger the
It's a state code change, yeah.
code.
The other day.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
We'll adjust, we'll make the
But we'll
adjustment.
make it work.
Yeah,
Because otherwise we'd have to redo plans and
Right.
it's just, we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there.
Yep.
And we've thought that, we don't ever hold more than 3 people anyway, ever. I don't ever.
Very rare.
And if it is, we can talk to our neighbors and have them help us out. Just as we would help them out if they had a problem.
maybe.
Mutual. No, we will.
Just kidding.
We're more than welcome to have some Darien folks come and stay downstairs, but we'll just leave that at that. We're gonna
Okay.
stop right there. Just kidding for the press. Just kidding, Mike.
Okay,
But that was a little curveball thrown at us.
yeah, okay,
But it'll get worked out.
okay. Anything further on building?
The training center, I've been shown 3 different locations.
Yeah.
Over there, someplace. And just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And they've been trying to take the square footage of the building and fit it into those locations.
How many square feet would the building be, do you know?
The guide offhand.
Yeah.
It's,
50.
yeah, it's like 50. It's not huge. And we
How many,
probably need an acre and a half is kind of what we need. Up to 2 acres is what we kind of need with parking and everything.
Yeah,
I think it's 10,000 square feet.
Yeah.
One level.
10 to 12,000.
I just don't recall off the top of my head, but it's basically a box.
and somewhere in the neighborhood of an acre and a half to 2 acres for the parking and the.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It was about 7,500 square feet and it'd be about, acre and a half with parking, to try to
Yep.
fit it.
And,
So we're
and
looking at, to Paul's point, we're looking at 3 separate locations, trying to determine, each one has either a technical aspect or another aspect to it as far as a procedural or otherwise restricted. So we're looking at each one and seeing which one it might be, trying to determine whether we have 3 viable options, 2 viable or 1 viable, and then pursue, so if it's that case, then pursue the 1. If it's the 3, then we'll go on 3, then we'll choose the best course at that point. But we have a little bit more work to do on our end to make sure that everyone that might be affected has been consulted and their voices heard at that point. So before we say it's a viable alternative, we want to make sure that there's no impediments, that no one comes back and says, oh, wait a minute, you didn't talk to me, and no, it's not going to work. So.
Right.
Because no matter where we put it, there's going to be some inconvenience, I guess would be the best way to describe it. So.
Right.
We're hoping to have clarity very soon. We've been given the direction to get clarity very soon. So we're hoping to have that clarity, maybe even before the next building committee meeting, if not that one, then the next one.
Yep.
Great. Okay, any further updates? Letters of appreciation.
We have one this month from a member that took the Citizen Police Academy, and it was an amazing experience. It's a nice letter. Program well received. Looking forward to doing that again.
Great.
That's it.
Okay, any other matters? Do we have any, we have an executive session, right?
Yes.
All right, so it is 6:36. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
Yeah.
Second?
Yeah.
All in favor? Aye. Let's go into executive session, Jennifer. Okay, so we're coming out of executive session. And can I get a motion regarding the promotion of Sergeant Aaron LaTourette
Yeah, I'll make that motion to lieutenant. Yes,
to lieutenant,
effective
August 1st.
August 1st,
August 1st? Okay,
2023.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, approved.
Great, thank you.
Okay, with that, I think we're ready to adjourn. Maybe a motion to adjourn.
Sure. I'll give him
Second. All in favor? Adjourned. Thank you.